So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how to use the Jamboard app on a mobile device. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new jam. So to do that, I'm going to tap on the plus sign in the corner, and that's going to generate a new jam or a new Jamboard session. Now this looks very similar to the version that we get to see on the desktop. So we can write on here, we can draw things. Now what happens is there's a few extra tools. So we see the colors like we do on the regular version, but we also have these assistive drawing tools. Now we have the first one, which is handwriting to text. We have the second one, which allows us to draw shapes and turn them into proper shapes. And then we have the auto draw option. So by using auto draw, I can draw a stick man like I drew before, and it will try and interpret what I'm trying to draw. So, and then I can insert that item into my jam. I can then pinch it to scale it. I can rotate it. I can tap on the three dots. I can duplicate it. As with the desktop version, I can change my background. I can also duplicate, and I can also add frames to the left or to the right. So if I go back here and I choose a different assistive drawing tool, and let's say I do this, and I decide to draw a pretty terrible circle here, what this tool should do, didn't choose it. So what will happen here is, as I draw a circle, it's going to draw me a circle that is filled. So it actually draws. So again, if I do a triangle, it's going to turn this into a triangle. Maybe if I do, clearly its shape recognition is somewhat limited. It will do a trapezoid. Let's see if it can cope with a parallelogram. Apparently not. Parallelograms are clearly too much of a challenge for it. And again, maybe you could do like stars or something. I can't really draw stars. Nope. Oh, but it does pentagons. So that's the shape tool. So we also have a few other tools here. So we can clear an entire frame, or we can just erase. But the magic happens when we tap on the plus. Now the plus allows us to insert sticky note items, images, items from my camera, things from our image library, and also allows us access to some stickers. So you can throw in these pre-made frames, for example, which you can, again, using the arrow tool here, you a little tricky to grab, but you should be able to expand it. Pinching to zoom on the, maybe this will work. Pinching to zoom, there we go, on the canvas allows you to zoom into the actual entire canvas. And then we can go back up here. I could turn off this tool, and I can actually write on the screen here. Now, when I go to drive content and I choose something that's a slides presentation, I can double tap on that, and we just have to wait a second for it to load that. While it's loading that, I'm going to add something else as well. So drive content. I'm going to throw in here. Let's throw in the hello world. So let's go back to this. So when I now double tap on my Google Drive slides file, I can then start to throw in individual slides from my Drive file like this. So then when I tap off this, I can close it, I can move it back over here. But now using the arrow, I've got these two slides which I can zoom into, and I can move around. Now what this allows me to do is I can then use the highlighter, for example, and I can then highlight sections of this. So I can be like this. a little intense. Undo. So I can highlight this section, I can highlight this part. Now, I can do the same thing with a Google Doc. So I can tap on the page from a Google Doc, I can actually bring this in here, and then I can start to highlight content from a Google Doc like this. So there's a lot of things that you can do here that allow it to be a pretty powerful tool. You can bring in slides, you can bring in docs, you can add a sticky note, so you can use the sticky note feature. That adds a sticky note. For your Drive content as well, you can also bring in, I'll let this load. Give it a few more seconds. So you can bring in, also bring in a Google Sheet as well. You can search for an image. So for example, I can search for Cartesian. I can bring in a Cartesian plane if I'm teaching math. Allows me some flexibility. And then I can actually duplicate. I could create multiple slides and duplicate each one for every student in my class and get them all working on the same thing. So it clearly doesn't want to load this sheet. But again, you can expand the spreadsheet. You can pull in the parts of a sheet as a table, and you can access different things there as well. So once you're done with this, there's a few things you can do by tapping on the three dots. So you can use, you can copy a link, you can save it as a PDF, you can save each individual frame, you can copy it, and then if you want to, you can share it. So you have a number of sharing options. You can allow people to edit or view, and you can also share these directly through Google Classroom. So you have a load of options here. There's some really cool tools. The handwriting to text one works actually pretty well. So this is handwriting to text, and it actually works kind of nicely. If it had done it all on the same line, it would have don't know how I did that. It would have there we go. So I can drag this so it actually all goes into the same. Let's see if we can drag that into that. Okay, so there we go. So now it's all the same thing. So you can drag them around and make them all part of the same thing. Let's give this one, let's go. No, it's not going to do it.